Hello. So I'm not a movement teacher and I'm not a dance teacher, but I'm just going to show off right now with my method of thinking. I'm a thought teacher, and so we're going to go over a dance or a movement concept called relaxed moving. Like, what does it mean to be relaxed, or how do you stay relaxed? How do you stay loose in an athletic sense or in a dance sense? Because it's like, how can you be involved in movement or dance but also be relaxed, being passive? Like, it really, like, if you think about it, it doesn't make any sense. Like, stay loose, what does that mean? How can I stay loose if I'm controlling myself at all? Right? I have to exert to control. And so, what it is you'll notice that when you stay loose, stay relaxed, the true relaxation understands all of this to be perception, and thus sort of at the same medium, of the same density. It's of the same stuff, the air, the body. Everything's roughly of the same density. It's almost like it's all made out of the same thing. Like, whatever it is that you perceive with, like wherever perception's happening in the body, everything you're perceiving is roughly the same buoyancy. It's roughly the same density. So you can actually float. And so to move, the medium itself has to move. So you can start the medium sloshing. You can use your momentum to start the medium sloshing, and then that lets you relax and slosh with the medium. So being rhythmic, right? The whole energy of the space, being with that and riding that is what lets you have looseness in a movement. Looseness is movement caused by the rhythm of the medium. And so that can be generated with like a ton of training, or like doing something habitually over and over and over again creates like a current or a vortex or a tendency, a flow in your life, and you can relax into that. And when you relax, those patterns and stuff just flow out really easily. So the only way to get loose movement in some sense is like via like very hard training, which I've used this example before. I think it's like when you're on a treadmill and you get off and there's a tendency to keep going. That's another example of loose movement. Or habitual behavior, addictions, that's loose movement where it propels you. Prayer, meditation, I wouldn't know anything about that. Also, if you ever did that habitually enough to like get some momentum going, then you could stop doing that and experience like a relaxed thing going that way. And so you'll find when that's going on, it's like that's where it's actually that's where all the arts and everything and playfulness and everything else comes out of. And then so you can extrapolate from there that like obviously life's not really gonna even start until you die, which is kind of terrifying. Because that's when the relaxation is going to happen. Which is, similar to flow state. and then staying loose, you can kind of do more difficult exercise, more difficult when you realize that you're staying loose, but you're actually in the water, like forcing the fluid deeper into your tissues, forcing the fluid deeper into your muscles. That's what the burn is, or it's not even really a burn. Like that's the goal of the exercise, and it's not supposed to be if you're doing it consciously, of like, oh, why don't I just let's put the stay relaxed and hydrate inward. And lowering, like, increases the pressure. Okay. Yeah, and then the goal, like, I mean, if you're already super athletic, obviously not for you, but for old injured fogies, you hydrate inwardly. Which requires a fair amount of pressure. And that's where the horse stance and the squatting and like just any sort of pressure generating exercises, lifting weights, like anything that generates pressure, the fruit or the thing that's making that exercise useful, what you're doing unconsciously, is you're hydrating inwardly. You have to relax and push in at the same time, and so you have to be getting into a habit where you open and relax, and there's inward hydration. So repetitive pressure generating drills generates a current or a flow of habit, so that then it'll rehabilitate the level that you're pressurizing at, which could be muscular or tendon, basically. If you're really bored, bones. And so there's a lot of distractions at this level. It's like where you need to pressurize, you need to hydrate, you need to generate momentum in that direction. You actually get like bigger and bigger, more flexible, whatever. But people try and focus on like, oh, it's just hard. And it's like hard stuff will do it. But you're not trying to do anything hard. You'd want to do this as easy as possible. Which is usually making like a relatively easy exercise like very focused, like very difficult. Like the sweet spot is doing something that anybody could do, but having sort of an internal precision to make that exercise drastically more fruitful. Generator just shut off. Or no, not the generator. Shitty ass. Not batteries. The batteries that don't do what batteries are supposed to do. Whoa! I just got attacked by a frog. A toad. Just going for it. What's his deal? So where was I? Oh God. Oh yeah. So that's, yeah, like relaxed movement is rhythmic movement. So that rhythm can be happening in the moment. And that's like having good tempo. And then rhythm can happen over a week, and that's like being studious or disciplined. A rhythm can happen over like a century or decade. You have trends, so there's various degrees of like relaxed movement is like going with and just being kind of animated by everything. And if you do that consciously, it's kind of swimming, and if you do it unconsciously, it's just kind of like you're just moving along. And then yeah, and then there's obviously like if you're doing relaxed movement, there's huge waves. So to actually like be kind of like letting go and being moved by these giant waves usually gives you like a religious or a cataclysmic or an apocalyptic feel. And it's like those waves are mostly like very deep and unnoticeable, but then occasionally it's like they crash. And that's a huge crash. And it's like, how do you get into alignment with that? I don't know. How do you relax during that? But you have mental control out much further than just the body. Maybe not everything, but you can start movement out further, so you can do everything should be done in kind of a physically relaxed way, and all of the efforts coming from moving it lets the body just get as light as possible. You're moving the whole thing, your whole area of effect. Is in moving, So rhythm is on tempo, but it's not only on tempo. Somebody could be charging at you without a good tempo, and what would be like rhythmic or relaxed in that sense is going to be an off-tempo movement. Yeah, what's going to be relaxed in an arrhythmic situation is arrhythmic movement, but what's going to be relaxed in a rhythmic situation is rhythmic movement. very weak with rotational rhythm. Wow. One way to get relaxed movement is somebody's like telling you exactly what to do, because that command has like an impulse to it, so you can just like relax into that. That's a way to experience it. But anytime you're doing like relaxed, loose movement, it's kind of a transcendent movement because you've actually relaxed and it's more than you moving yourself. So it's a really important skill to have in dance, I think. All right, stay loose.